Welcome to the inaugural Eastern Echo Sports Podcast, and I am your host, Eugene Evans, the sports editor at the Eastern Echo, along with my partner in crime for the week, Echo photographer Andrew Masharka. Andrew, how does it feel to be a part of the inaugural Echo Podcast?
Well, I'm happy to be a part of the first one ever. Here's a quick rundown of this weekend's action. EMU soccer lost a close contested game to number 14 Michigan in overtime 2-1. Volleyball took 2 of the 3 games in Buffalo. For cross country, the Eagles finished 1-2-3 in their race. And in football, EMU beat Howard 34-24.
Indeed, the Eagles came from behind. At one point in the game, they were down 11 points late in the third quarter, 24-13. Things did not look good for the Eagles, as Tyler Benz threw an early interception. The defense was missing fundamental tackles, committing senseless penalties, and all of a sudden, both sides of the ball got it together. Head coach Ryan English commented on their come-from-behind victory against the Bison.
You know, the kids, what was the best thing about the game is they had to keep fighting. So, it's 14 points right there, 14-24. So we did some good things, and there's some things we're going to get a lot better at.
Ryan, can you talk about the moment when they went down 11 in the third quarter and how they were able to so quickly return?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We've been preaching that, and we couldn't have had a better scenario because the only way you learn to do that is to actually do it in a game. And so I was really pleased. And we had to make some adjustments on the sideline. Some stuff we hadn't even practiced. And so I was really pleased that, A, they kept their poise and kept believing in each other, and then B, that we were able to do things we needed to do to win the game. But I just think that they kept listening, and it was a lot of fun out there for me. Frustrating at times, but a lot of fun.
A lot of fun indeed for not only EMU football, but for the 7,668 fans that were in attendance this past weekend to see the Eagles defeat the Bison 34-24. And also most of the crowd that was there were parents and kids of the new freshmen that have come in. So for the new freshmen that are part of the Eastern Michigan University family, welcome to the Eastern Echo Sports Podcast. Now for some specific stats from the EMU Howard game. Tyler Benz completed 19 out of 26 passes for 210 yards and threw for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Running back Bronson Hill ran for 101 yards on 28 carries, giving him his 4th career 100-yard rushing game. And also, Darius Jackson had a late 4th quarter touchdown in which he was being dragged by the Howard defender, and he just basically went right on in for 18 yards. So look out for Darius Jackson going into the Penn State game and beyond. He could get more playing time. And now on to the turning point for the EMU Howard game. For me, my turning point was on 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. The score was 17-13. EMU was down 4. They were looking for a goal line stand. And Howard quarterback Greg McGee rolled out of the pocket and threw an incomplete pass. So it appeared that the possession was over with. EMU got the stop they needed. We would get the ball back at the 1-yard line. But there was one problem to it. Strong safety Donald Coleman committed a roughing the passer penalty, which was a big blow, a very big blow to EMU's chances of getting that stop they needed, and it was almost setting a fresh new set of downs, and it essentially gave Howard the opportunity to run right on in because the next play, McGee ran in for 1 yard, and it put EMU down 11 points into a very big hole. And given what happened this past weekend with multiple upsets between FCS and FBS teams, the EMU crowd became very restless at that moment. And now I'll turn to Andrew for his turning point of the game.
Yeah, for me, the biggest play of the game was Sean Kurtz's interception at the start of the 4th quarter. EMU was down 24-20. They needed something to get back into the game, and he picked off McGee, took it in, total momentum change from there on out.
After Sean Kurtz's interception, the momentum turned all the way to the Eagles side, and it appeared that Howard started running out of gas, and the Eagles cruised all the way on to a 34-24 victory on this Saturday night.
The big news of the weekend was when EMU Athletics announced that basketball will return to Bowen Fieldhouse for a couple of games, November 12th through 14th. They're pegging it back to Bowen, and the men's team will play Concordia on November 12th, and Robert Morris on the 14th. The women's team will play Butler on the 13th, and there will be an alumni game on the 14th. The last time the Eagles played at Bowen was 2004, and the last full season that they played there was 1997 and 98. Tickets will be $10 for the men's game, $8 for the women's game. Students can still get in for free, but they have to pick up their tickets in advance.
In other news, Eastern Michigan University goalkeeper Megan McCabe was named the Mid-American Conference Women's Soccer Defensive Player of the Week for the period ending August 25th. The Arlington Heights, Illinois native racked up 5 saves in a 3-2 season opening victory over Detroit on August 23rd. She also kept number 23 ranked Ohio State in check, allowing 1 goal in 90 minutes of regulation before the Buckeyes scored 8 minutes in overtime to claim a 2-1 victory. This past Wednesday, I had the honor and privilege to talk to Eastern Michigan University women's volleyball head coach Kim Barrington in advance of the September 4th home opener against the Oregon State University Beavers. Here is the full interview for the Eastern Echo podcast.
All right, so Wednesday, September 4th, you guys are going up against Oregon State at 7 p.m. at the Convo. It's the first time you guys have had a Pac-12 team come in here in the 36 years of volleyball here. How is that to have a team coming from Corvallis to come here to play you guys?
We're very excited about it because the Pac-10 and the Big Ten are the 2 best conferences in the country. So in football, it would be like Alabama or an SEC school coming here. So it's big time for us. Their athletes are very big, very talented, and they're very well coached.
Yeah. And then how's playing a Pac-12 team preparing you to go up against a MAC school later in the season?
Well, we want to win a MAC championship, so in order to get better, you have to play against the best competition, and this is a great opportunity for that. We have to learn how to play against bigger, faster, stronger opponents, more experience. Those types of things provide us an individual challenge as well as a team challenge, and it gives us an opportunity to see how we respond.
Okay. And with Oregon State, are there any players that we need to watch out for from them that could be a threat to you?
They have a pretty dynamic outside hitter. They're very big in the middle. Skill-wise, they're going to be very solid, and I think just their team systems, they'll be very consistent. I think it'll be a fun and entertaining match. The big thing is we'll see how we respond. We're pretty young and we're pretty inexperienced, so it's going to be a big challenge for us. But I'm looking forward to see if we accept that challenge and really come out and fire up and play some of our best volleyball. If we're going to come out and be maybe a little tired or nervous, or we'll see. That's why it's nice to have that challenge early in the season. Give us an opportunity to see how we respond and work on those things.
Yep. And with Terry Liskevich, obviously the legend in volleyball, not just women's but men's, how much of an honor will it be to coach against him?
You're absolutely right. He's a legend in women's game, men's game, internationally. He's coached at just a very, very high level for a long time, and he's building a program out there. And yes, I'm very honored to be able to shake hands with him prior to the match and after the match. And it's kind of a unique experience for me in my coaching history as well.
Okay. Well, obviously, Oregon State's the first BCS school to come here and play you guys since 2009 when University of Michigan came here. What would you say to the fans or any of the students who are either freshmen or still living on campus? What can you say to them to get them to come out to the Convocation Center on Wednesday?
Well, first of all, your Eagles are a lot of fun to watch. We aren't always the biggest team in the gym, but we're very athletic, we're very fast. I think we play a fun style of volleyball. We play great defense. We're really scrappy. Offensively, we try a lot of different things, so we're fun on our side of the net. The impressive thing about the Big 12 players is they're big, kind of like the Big 10. They're big.
Yeah.
And they just play at the highest level, and you could see some first-rate volleyball right here at Eastern, where you don't have to go down the street or somewhere else. So they'll be here at the Convo, and it's a unique opportunity, so come on out.
Okay, well, thank you for being my first guest on the Eastern Echo Sports Podcast, and good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you very much.
All right.
The game starts at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. Make sure you come out and support the EMU volleyball team, as they'll have one of their biggest games of the year right down the street from where you're at your dorms or wherever you're commuting at. Just make sure you take 2 hours of your time to come down to the Convocation Center. I guarantee that you will not regret the experience. While the first week of classes are getting underway, here's the athletic schedule for this week. And know that the only opportunity to see any of the teams in person will be the women's volleyball match against Oregon State University this upcoming Wednesday. On Friday, September 6th, women's soccer travels to Indiana for a 6 p.m. matchup. And later that night, women's volleyball begins the first of their 3 games at Valparaiso, with the first contest being against Valparaiso. In an ironic twist, head coach Kim Barrington's daughter Kelsey is a member of the Valparaiso volleyball team, which was mentioned earlier in the interview that I did with Coach Barrington. And that starts at 7 p.m. Then on Saturday, September 7th, women's volleyball has the second of their 3 games in Valpo, this time against Army at 9 a.m. Then later that day, EMU football takes on Penn State at Happy Valley in State College, Pennsylvania. The game starts at noon and can be seen on the Big Ten Network, BTN to Go online, and on radio on WEMU 89.1 FM. Later that day, women's volleyball plays the third of their 3 matches against the Iowa Hawkeyes in Valpo, and that starts at 2 p.m. And to wrap up the week, on Sunday, September 8th, women's soccer finishes their 4-game road trip at Butler, and that game starts at 1 p.m. Follow the Eastern Echo on Twitter at @TheEasternEcho. Also, you can follow me, Eugene Evans, on Twitter at Eastern Echo Gino. That is at Eastern Echo Gino.
And you can follow me, Andrew Masharka, at @AMasharka.
All right. See you next week on the Eastern Echo Sports Podcast, where we will have many, many more things to talk about.